That's neat. Okay. Let's do this. Slap my head on. I'm Will Fawcett, and I'm going to review a movie for you. This is kind of new. It's kind of fun. Kind of different. Let's just see how it goes. I just got home from watching Creed 2. It's a good film. Perfect. With some problems, but an amazing third act. So, Creed 2 is directed by Stephen Caple Jr., with stars as Sylvester Stallone, Michael B. Jordan, and all those boyos. Basically, the plot of this movie is Creed, the son of Apollo Creed. It's a sequel to the first one, and he fights Draco, and yeah, it's basically Rocky IV, but with Creed and younger and rap music. That's pretty much the movie. But it's good. It's not bad. It's just Rocky IV with rap music, really, and maybe a more developed bad guy. I really like the soundtrack. The soundtrack was amazing. It got me going multiple times throughout the film. I think that the soundtrack sells, like, it's a whole point on the top scale thing. The beginning of the movie, he becomes the world champ, and now he has to fight Drago's kid from Rocky IV that killed Creed, Apollo Creed. And it's really cool. Like, I think I just have a soft spot for, like, Rocky, like, not coming of age, but, like, overcoming a challenge movies, because this movie's fucking awesome. I think the first act is solid. It's a little weak in some points. Like, there's this whole conflict between Rocky and Apollo that isn't really that great. It makes sense, but isn't really touched on later on in the film, and it doesn't make a lot of sense, like, in the film as a whole. I think the third act is wonderful. It is shot beautifully. It's a really cool fight. I think the movie is a good place to end the Rocky franchise. I don't think we need a Creed 3. I love Rocky and I love this movie, and I would rather see something new and not a continuation of this story. Even though I want to see more of the characters, it's just that this is it. Like, there's no other place they can go and not feel forced. By the end of the movie, I feel everything has been tied up for, like, and it kind of ends in like a nice little bow, I would say, and it's really good. I think it struggles from some things, like characters one scene feel like there's not consistent feelings with characters. I feel like they switch, mostly Rocky, because he's like, I'm not gonna fight, I'm not gonna watch you, I'm not gonna be the one to throw in the towel for you, Creed, not again. There are some issues with the film, and I think that it's one of the better Rocky films, but given a lot of them, that's not hard to do. I think it's really good. It's good, but it's also bad. It's good directing, good characters. They feel grounded. They feel like they actually have something they're fighting for. I feel like they make the villain a character, but they don't have him, like, ever talk, and it's weird because it feels like they were trying to make the, like, normal bad guy, but then they decided to give him feelings and not just have him be a voiceless, like, meat bag for Rocky to punch, which is good, but still have the meat bag qualities that it just feels off to me. Like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I thought as a villain, he was pretty good, but he wasn't really, he was menacing, but he didn't have any, like, villain properties. Like, he beat up Creed, and his last name's Drago, and that's pretty much all that it is. Yeah. It is like, if Rocky IV were to have a sequel, it'd be this one, even more than, like, Rocky V and all that bullshit. So for my score, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10, like an 8.1 out of 10, because it's good, but it also kind of falls into the like Rocky pattern, and some of the stuff doesn't feel right. It's shot beautifully. The soundtrack is amazing. The soundtrack is so good. Like, I don't even really like hip-hop music, and I love the soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. So I think it's really good, and I think you should go see it in the theater, because it is an experience in the theater. It is a thing that you should experience in the theater, because, like, there's just one part where, like, Creed falls down, or it's a punch, and you can, like, in the theater, I, like, had the whole fucking thing shook. It was awesome. I walked out of that movie feeling so jazzed and, like, ready to fight. It was amazing. That third act of the film is so good. It is amazing. The third act alone is just good. Like, it's just pure good. It's shot beautifully. The characters are great. Like, everything about that third act makes up, and the third act is really why it's an 8 out of 10. For me, if the issues weren't so, like, I was kind of bored when about halfway through, and then it got better. But I did get bored, and I think if that boredom wasn't there, it'd be a 9 out of 10, close to a 10 out of 10, because there are problems with the film, but it does deliver on what it needs to do, and it's really good at what it delivers, and it is an experience to watch this movie in the theater, and I highly suggest you go out and see this movie in the theater. It is an experience. It is fun. It's good. So, 8.1 out of 10. Thank you for watching.